Community Memorial Hospital in Enumclaw. I was the first baby born in the hospital in Enumclaw.
A basketball player from the Boston Celtics, Scalabrini, Brian Scalabrini.
Dane, he says, man, oh dear, Stormy, you're 55 years old? No, you're 85 and you would pass for 45. That's because you're out there active doing something.
And then when the war broke out, I moved to Enumclaw in 1941.
And then I went in the military. So then when I go back to the States, I go back and we moved here to Enumclaw.
Gamblins, that's where I usually bought Chevrolet. You know, working in the woods, I usually bought a new truck every couple of years, you know, because we just wore them out. And they were always really easy to deal with. You know, I didn't like going out of town to deal with high-pressure salesmen and stuff. You know, they always treated me really good, and the Fugits were good too, but usually I like Chevrolet because they rode better.
So we're there bowling, and I never bowled in my life. I towed that ball down there by left hand, bang, and I got a strike.
And at the Pete's Pool in the attic, the Army had a radio relay station, and those young soldiers used to come down where I was working downtown in the cafe. But these young men would come down and we had fun together because they were all the same age I was. So one day they came in and they said they wanted me to go hiking up on top of Mount Peak with them. And I said, well, I don't think I can go because when I came here I didn't bring any hiking shoes or clothes. They are still back at my parents' place. And the one young soldier who was bigger than I, he said, if no problem, you can wear my suit. So I had on his soldier suit with his hat, and we hiked up to the top of Mount Peak.
I drove bus for 55 years. Enumclaw, White River, and Crystal Mountain. The darn high school kid was bucking these little kids. And I told him, said, if you don't knock it off, you're getting off of this bus. And he thought it was funny, he was bugging him. I said, stop the bus, I said, get out.
When I was little, I always had my chaps and hat and guns on, you know. My mom had to go into the First National Bank, which was right in the main corner here. And she just left me outside the bank. And when she came out of the bank, I had my hat off. And I said, when she came out, I said, Mom, look. And people were putting money in my hat. She was just, I don't know how long it was before she came back into town, you know. She was so embarrassed.
I'll tell you something really funny, and maybe I shouldn't, but I know that you are familiar with the man who is the superintendent of schools here. I dated his father in 1941. I told him, I could be your mother.
Girls, how old do you think Stormy is? So they're looking at me and grinning and grinning. They said, well, I think he's 55, getting pretty close to 60. So when he told them my age, they wouldn't believe it. They started laughing. They wouldn't believe it. I said, what does that tell you? Hard work don't hurt anybody.
And got on as supervisor of the school lunch program here in Enumclaw. And I was there for 20 years, feeding these little kids their lunch every day. After that, it came time to retire. I really wasn't ready to retire, but life just left me like a flat tire. So then I felt a need to volunteer, so I came down to the senior center and I started teaching an exercise class here for seniors.
She says, let's go golfing. Golfing, I've never golfed in my life. He says, come on, I'll show you what to do. He showed me what to do, and guess what? I beat him.
And that's how I met my husband, because he was a bowler, and I bowled in a traveling league, and he was very good friends with the man who owned Empire Bowl in Seattle.
I went to school at Brian Kibler. I went to school at J.J. Smith. I went to school at the junior high, which is now Garrett's Park But originally it was Enumclaw Buckley High School. And that's why the Hornets are called the Hornets too, because Buckley and Enumclaw used to be a combined school. And they didn't have middle schools. They either had JJ, Kibler, or that, but they didn't have the middle schools.
I've seen a lot of changes in Enumclaw.
Elmer's 24 flavors ice cream, and just a really small sense of community, small town.
It's totally changed from when I was. I remember when the round thing up in the city hall that used to be a fish pond. That is now a planter for rhododendrons. It was a fish pond, and the employees would buy the goldfish and the koias and that. And they had to finally fill it in when kids and that would keep killing the fish. So that's why it got filled in, and it became a planter. But it used to be a fish pond.
Tire shop used to be right out here, where on our next, where that light is. On the left, there's a tire. Enumclaw Tire used to be in there.
They had an event in town called the Natchez Trail Days.
I think it's called Euphoria now. It used to be Mel's soda fountain place. That used to be a soda fountain place where you go hamburgers and soda fountains and that. That used to be called Mel's Place. And then, gosh, what else has changed? So many things have changed. I can't even probably remember everything that's changed.
Well, one thing they done was change US 410 out here. It used to go up Roosevelt to the stop sign, take a left, and go down old two-lane highway down across Bushy Creek and into Buckley on right past the Buckley Nursery there. It used to be just a two-lane road.
Person's Real Estate that used to be here over on Griffin used to be 57 Flavors.
Well, I can remember going shopping down at Enumclaw Food Center when it was downtown Enumclaw.
And they had a meat market.
That where the church is, that used to be a bowling alley.
And there used to be 2 or 3 different 5 and 10 cent stores, and there was a Rexall and a J.C. Penney's and a Haberdasher, Jensen's Haberdasher, which was right next to Euphoria or whatever it is now. Used to be the Hallmark.
When we first come to Enumclaw, Fugate Ford used to be right out here.
We had dress shops, we had shoe stores, we had all that stuff.
Then we had the Bluebird down on Main Street where Cure Herald is now. And they sold records in there. And so you could go in and sit at the bar and have a hamburger and whatever you wanted and played all the records you wanted. And
They had a little cage in the middle of the store. People would come and pay their bill, and they'd get a bag of chocolate. They were awesome.
And it used to be kitty corner right over here across the street from where the parking lot is now. It used to be down through there is where it used to be at, the railroad station and that, before they closed it up.
Rochdale's was the place to go.
we had Mel's Diner, you know, up at the corner where Euphoria is now.
The way I remember, the original bowling alley used to be the Ski Inn, from the way I understood. I don't know that part. And then it went down to where that doctor's office went, and then it used to be Puget Power after that. And then Puget Power moved, and then the bowling alley crossed over on 410, which is now the church. So that used to be in a bowling alley too, but it originally was 3 different places.
Oh, they moved to Wolff. They got Art Gambler's Motors out there, and they got another dealer, General Motors. Chrysler product is there. They're built there, you know, and then they got another store behind that. What's that store? They sell all kinds of vegetables. It's a grocery store.
Which is now the landfill. Used to be what we used to call the dump. When I was growing out, was the dump. We don't have landfills then. They were dumps. And that's how they used to get rid of the garbage, is they took it up there, dumped it, paid for it, and that's how they got rid of it.
Hornet's Nest going out towards Black Diamond, that was a big hangout for us, you know. And communicated and talked, and that was the big hangout. That's what we did every single weekend. Nobody got in trouble. You never saw people drinking out there or anything. It was just good, clean fun, you know.
We would certainly support all the sports. you know, it's a huge sports town.
Well, they had sports.
When I was younger, the movies and stuff like that. We went to the movies. Mostly that was the big thing.
That's what we did every weekend, went to the movies.
Oh, we'd pose town. If you had a car, you would definitely pose town.
Pose? Cruise. It was supposed to be cruise.
We partied. I would go out and party and have fun.
Maybe go fishing at Deep Lake.
The winters were very, very cold. We ice skated.
In wintertime, we would take, I had an old Model A Ford, so we would go up toward Greenwater with that Ford. They had the sleds tied behind the car, which wasn't a very good idea to do.
Go out to parks and hang out, go over, you know, each other's friend's house.
Go shooting or just get an old car and take it up to the power lines and run it till it wouldn't run anymore. And
We had a lot of hangouts, which the kids don't have now, and it's very, very sad.
And they had a huge parade downtown. A lot of vigilantes would come into town, and people would dress up in the period. They'd have some old Model T and Model A cars, and you know, women with big hats and dresses.
Well, I remember the parades and the rodeo. There used to be a rodeo right up here off of 446, is it?
They had the Christmas parade, and you know, there's nothing like a hometown parade.
You know where the country animal hospital is? Used to be. You would take the light there, and take a left on 244th, and then take the first right. You would go up about a half a mile on the left side. There used to be a rodeo there.
There is a picture of our front steps with the bear cubs, little black bear cubs that my father got when he shot the mother bear.
My dad worked at the Weyerhaeuser mill there in Raymond.
I worked in the woods in my junior year in the summer, setting chokers for Taylor Brothers, joined the Marine Corps, went to Vietnam, and when I came back, I went to work for Carl and Dean DeGrosse, setting chokers. Went to work for Clarence McManus and Rich McManus, and started to learn how to cut timber, and then I was a timber faller for 30 years. You just have to work around the tree, and then sometimes you'd have to crawl inside the undercut to be able to cut the heart out of the tree, and then so you could reach from the outside. The one I was talking about on Grass Mountain, it was 211 feet to where it broke, you know, so it was still 60 inches at 211 feet.
Yeah, I remember the coal mining.
My dad was a coal miner.
It was tough, those poor coal miners. That wasn't an easy job.
The man that built my house, which is a block from the city hall, was Dr. J.J. Smith.
One time something happened to mine clothes on them, caved in, and they had to dig them out.
Hi, Albert.
Because of the caved in under a tunnel to get in and out of there, see? So that's one of the things that I remember. But boy, that must have been a tough job.
I'll always remember about Enumclaw was you just knew everybody.
You know, it was always safe. I mean, you could walk downtown, you know, at 10 o'clock at night and you were safe. You didn't have to worry about it.
When you came into town, especially from high school on, was you'd wave. If you didn't wave 10 times driving through town, then something was wrong. I mean, it was, and you'd wave at older people, farmers, you'd wave at the loggers, you would just constantly be raising your hand and waving at people when you're going through town.
People are friendly and everybody knows me. And they say, oh, wow, they don't know my real name. You know Ed Storm? Edwin Storm? No, I don't know who's that. You know Stormy? Oh yeah, I know Stormy. Everybody knows Stormy. He talks a lot.
If you're on foot, you'd be saying hi to people all the time. And just, you know, of course you knew the people in the stores, and if you left your wallet at home or something, they knew you, and I'll pay you tomorrow when I come back.
There was quite a few changes, but looks pretty nice. It's a nice city. It's a good place to live. I like it here.
There's no stopping progress. And yes, we do keep growing, but we also keep losing more. And it is a very nice, Enumclaw is a very nice place to be.
So we had a great childhood.
Great school system, great place to grow up. Just the small town feeling, the sense of community, people that you could trust with your children. You know, you could call someone up and they'd come pick up your kids, or they would be there for you.
I love Enumclaw. I never want to live anyplace else. In fact, I've got my plot out in the cemetery. My name is already there, but I'm not there yet.
All I can say is after we had our hurricane in 1983, that as far as I could see, Enumclaw is the same place it has always been. A very friendly place to live and a very friendly people that live here.